Yo, how's it going, people? It's your boy Veedu Vidz in the house. I hope everyone is doing well. Before we get started on the video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and to hit the notification bell for more videos when they come out. So today I want to go over this video, which, to be honest with you, I watched maybe a couple of weeks ago. I saw it on Twitter on the ex-Muslims of North America, their channel. Big shout out to them. And it's the Sheikh, he's a Somali Sheikh. I think he's from North America. I'm not sure where, if it's America or Canada. And he's talking about Muslims who leave Islam, right? And what's interesting about what he says is the type of Muslims that leave Islam. So before we get into it and what I think, let's just watch what he has to say and I'll give my thoughts.
muslimiinta imsa ka baxda baa la yidhi diinta boqolkiiba waxaa soo gala horta aan idinku bushaaraynaya 23 boqolkiiba 23 baa soo gala boqolkiiba waxaa ka baxa muslimiinta diinta waxaa ka baxa 23 boqolkiiba أخرست ستاريسكا دونا جوجل قرايا
يعني جوجل it
2014 كي عرورت مسلمين يوث كولي بعد اللي بقول كيبا صدح يلا بعد ما كبحية 2014 ويكون عليا 2017 كيبا يكون بلعبين وحكب حي بقول كيبا أفر يلا بعد يعني وحنوش إن هذي مقالة طبعا كن أي دقيقين والربع ربع ما بحيا سند والبا وحكب حد دينت بقول كيبا أفر يلا 20%. واو ومصيبة.
Damn right it
تانو
is.
قرا سانو طوافر تانو قرا نكهل إني وحويه ورعروتنا الشكل وقلاي عن كيبين الشكل الدين توقصار. حنيدين شيء جيا. كون قالوا بي دين تكسي بحيا. كوا كم قشان CNN أما BBC لندن ميديا يسجلجلين يا ما كوا كندا كده جيتان CNN أما فاكس نيوز أي استوكتوغنا يا ما كوا دين تكبر حيا وعرور مركي هرب مساجد اللوسو كورية مرلبات كينا جامعة لقلية انتي جامعة النخبة دي وجوا نكسر جامعة كسر بحضي أيها قالوا دي.
Wow, what an admission.
كي وحدي لي مو قالوا بين، كي توجه مو قالوا بين، كي خمرية عكا مو قالوا بين، كي حماده يسكلوا حماده مو قالوا بين، كي قالوا بين وحنا نقضي إن كان إن أنت جامعة دقاي.
Well, for more content like that, subscribe to Ex-Muslims of North America. Did a fantastic job of translating that video. There's so much to discuss. I mean, we always hear that, you know, Islam is the fastest growing religion on the planet. Many people are converting to Islam. One thing you have to bear in mind, because I've seen this so many times, I've seen many people convert to Islam because they are marrying someone who's a Muslim. And the person they're marrying says, listen, just to please my parents, you know, can you just do a quick ceremony, a quick sort of conversion ceremony, say a few things in Arabic, and you'll magically become Muslim. They'll feel happy that you're now Muslim and this marriage can go ahead. Once they get married, in the first maybe year, they'll like pretend to be religious, whatever it is. But once they get their own house, once they move out or whatever it is, then things are basically back to normal. Islam is not a main feature of their relationship. They don't really care. They do whatever they were doing beforehand, and that's it. So on paper, they're Muslim. Right? If you ask their parents, yeah, my daughter-in-law or son-in-law is a Muslim convert. But in reality, not really. So that's one thing to bear in mind, that when people convert to Islam, don't always assume like, oh, they're doing it because, you know, they've rationally researched this whole thing and they can speak Arabic now and, you know, whatever. It's not always that case. There are some people who do go through that journey, but a lot of the time, it's because someone's marrying someone and they have to do it for a religious ceremony. Imagine if that religious ceremony, or rather it wasn't a requirement of the religious ceremony that the person has to be Muslim. Then what would that number be? Probably a lot lower than 24% or whatever it is. Many less people would convert to Islam because it's not a requirement. That's number one. Number two, he's saying that the same number of Muslims approximately leave Islam. Okay, now bearing in mind that there is an apostasy law in Islam, the social pressure of remaining a Muslim is very high within Muslim communities because they're very family orientated. It's a very sort of shame culture as well, so you can't leave Islam. It's one thing to not be a Muslim, but you keep it under wraps. You don't tell people about it. And there's a lot of cost of leaving a religion like Islam. So that number 24% is actually probably underestimated. It's probably much higher, right? The number of Muslims that are either not interested in Islam or want to leave Islam or have already left Islam is probably much higher than that number. And the people who convert to Islam for intellectual reasons is probably much less than 24% because a lot of them are for marriage purposes. So we have a huge shift in the demographics of the Muslim community, right? People who convert to Islam, a lot of them do it for love reasons. People who leave Islam is probably much higher than is being reported. And obviously the next part, the crux of what he's saying is that the kind, and this is actually completely destroys all of this propaganda by these dawah guys of the fake ex-Muslim, right? The fake ex-Muslim being, you were never really a Muslim, you want to rebel, you want to become Western, white, whatever you want to call it, you are under the influence of your colonial masters, all this crap, and you basically playing this game. Oh, I'm now an ex-Muslim. Islam sucks, but you were never really Muslim to begin with. It's all just a game. Okay, cool. This sheikh, may Allah bless him, has said the people that are apostatizing, the Muslims that are apostatizing, are the very ones who grew up in the mosques. They were the Muslims who attended the mosques. We're talking about removing doubt from Muslims, but these Muslims were the ones that grew up in the mosques. They went to universities. They are the cream of the crop. Basically, they are intelligent. They are the most intelligent from the community, and they're the ones who end up leaving Islam. Who will remain the Muslim? The thief, the drunkard, right? Basically, the people that, I mean, these are his words, not mine. The people that aren't either smart enough or don't educate themselves. Now, I'm not saying I 100% agree with that, because I know many ex-Muslims who don't go to university, and I know many Muslims who become more religious when they do go to university. So I don't necessarily agree with that, but that is his perception, right? And on some level, there is a truth in what he is saying, because I have seen Muslims who go to university, who interact with different people of different faiths, or no faith, or different ideologies. They start reading material that was not available in their mosques or in their communities. They become exposed to lecturers or speakers from different parts of the world. And now all of a sudden, their level of faith, that was like 110%, is now just a bit less. Even 90% is a massive decrease, because you have that 10% doubt. You don't buy into everything your sheikh is saying, or that the dawah guy is saying, or that the YouTube propaganda machine, that the dawah-ganda machine is saying. And I have seen this with my own eyes. I went to a Muslim school from the years year 9 to year 11, so that's like age 13 to 16. And I've seen people who went to my school, and this is actually true. One person actually contacted me who went to the boys' Muslim school, and he said, I'm actually also an ex-Muslim as well. So I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. So how many more of it? And obviously that person hasn't declared it, hasn't said openly, I'm an ex-Muslim. Because some people don't want to declare it. It's like, whatever, man. Like, I don't care about Islam. I just want to live my life. So the number of ex-Muslims is on the rise. The number of Muslim converts, if it's not on the decrease, it's the kind of people that convert to Islam, especially for marriage reasons. You're not replacing the cream of the crop, if that makes sense. These are his own words. Now just imagine if an ex-Muslim or a white Western atheist person has said the only people that remain Muslims are the ones that are drunk, are the ones that are thieves, are the ones that are basically stupid and can't make it to university. There would be an outcry, and actually rightly so, right? Imagine someone saying that in the news. The only people that remain Muslims are the stupid ones, and the ones that leave are the ones that have got a brain. you'd be like racist, Islamophobe, and colonialist. But instead, it's not the white man who's saying this. It's your own Muslim brother in Islam, not brother-in-law, brother in Islam, your own sheikh that is saying this. Now that is an absolutely damning indictment of not only the state of Muslims, but of also Islam. What does that say about your religion? That once you go to university, once you are the cream of the crop, in his own words, you think, actually, this whole thing doesn't make sense. This whole thing is kind of nonsense or irrelevant. I no longer want to go to the mosque. I no longer feel like the imam or the sheikh has anything to offer, anything new. I'd rather pick up the new scientist, right, than the Quran. Literally, over the last couple of months, last couple of years, I have seen sheikhs like this or dawah people panic. I did a video not long ago of Sheikh Saeed Raageh basically admitting that this whole narrative of the peaceful, spread of Islam is not true. And he was basically encouraging and defending groupthink, something which is anti-intellectual. And he is someone who many Muslims say is the intellectual guy, intellectual kind of sheikh. He's basically encouraging anti-intellectualism to defend his religion and to keep the number of Muslims from falling. Because once you leave the group think, you start thinking for yourself, you think, actually, well, this doesn't make sense, and that doesn't make sense. Is Islam even true? You have other people who are basically now worried, other dawah people. They're focusing their efforts not on converting people to Islam, but on keeping people, the already Muslims, within Islam. It's not an offensive game now. It's a defensive game. So the whole landscape has completely changed beyond recognition. And by the way, it's only going to change even more. I know Muslims like to think that their religion is unique, but it's not. We have seen the fall of Christianity, right? And Islam is next on the list. I don't know why you think it's so unique, right? There's nothing unique, nothing special about Islam that will keep it safe or protected from reason and rationality. So what the Sheikh has said here is completely and utterly damning of the Muslims, Muslim community, not only in the West but also in the Muslim world. The number of ex-Muslims increasing in the Muslim world is also on the rise. And like I said to you, it's very hard to leave Islam, either because it's illegal to do so, or there's repercussions. You could die, you could be imprisoned, or your family are basically going to cut you out, and that's just as bad as a death sentence in many cases. But the number there is still rising. Think about that for a second, right? And of course, it's much easier to apostatize in the West. That number is rising. It will get to, and I know many Muslims who are on the, like, I went to mosque with them, went to Sunday school, Saturday school, whatever you want to call it. I know their parents, okay, they're Muslims, but they got to a certain age now where Islam is irrelevant in their life. And it's not because they're fake ex-Muslims, they genuinely believed in it. But they went to university, they've seen the world, they've traveled, and now it's just like, Islam, yeah, I celebrate Eid, I might fast, might not, depends on who's watching. And they're living their lives, and Islam is, like I said, becoming more and more irrelevant. So 2-3 generations down the line, that number might not drop like, 24% leave Islam, 25%, 26%, it might go 24, 25, 30 or 40. Because within one massive swipe, 2 or 3 generations, their kids, they might not even pass on that Islamicness to them, that Islamic teaching to them. So it could be a huge fall within the next few generations. So I would actually like to finish this video by asking Muslims a question. And this isn't trying to wind you up or trying to rub it in or anything like that. But genuinely, when you hear your sheikh speak about your fellow Muslims, only the drunk guy will be a Muslim, only the thief, right, will remain a Muslim, and the cream of the crop, they leave Islam. What on earth are you thinking? Would you want to be in that mosque where the sheikh is talking like that? I mean, I know if I was a Muslim and I was in that mosque, I'd be like, bro, you're basically saying we're stupid if we remain Muslim, and you want to keep us that way. Bearing in mind, Yasir Qadhi previously said, groupthink is good as long as it's for Allah. Groupthink is bad if it's for anything else. What are your thoughts on this? Like, doesn't this raise some questions for you? If your own sheikhs, your own shaykh, are basically admitting defeat, that once our children learn, they educate, then we lose them. Now, I want to know your thoughts, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic, I'm not trying to rub it in. Genuinely, what are you thinking? Because I know if I was in that mosque, I would be vexed. So guys, it's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed this video. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and to click the notification bell. And if you've got any more questions or videos you'd like for me to react to or give my thoughts on, please send them to me on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, or whatever it is. And I will see you guys next time.